Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's very tiring. Since morning, you people are hearing multiple things like jobs, applications, and lots of other things. Now we are talking about how to create business through the AI, right? In this panel, we are going to discuss the thing, how organization should adopt the AI, what should be the way to transform their current organization, which is already a tech company, and they should adopt AI. So let me invite some of the panel members. The first one is Mr. Adnan Yusuf Qazi, Chief Operating Officer of 10X. The next is Bilal Khan, right, the country head of data science and data analytics. This one. And after Bilal Khan, Mr. Faisal Kamran is also joining us online through the Zoom link. Check kare. Music kare. And the last one is Ms. Rabia Farooq from NeuroCare AI. So we have few people, and we have to discuss how the current organization can go on, or how they can transform their current scenario into the AI. So before beginning the discussion, first I would like to highlight some facts, like a survey has been conducted which reflected around the three major areas of adopting the AI. Right, the first one is about automation, which is called RPA, and most of the organization has current systems which requires actually automation processes. So 50% of the companies or 50% of the organizations has adopted the AI in automation, right? That is also called RPA. The second one is not least one, which is predictive analysis. Right, almost 35% of companies or organizations has adopted predictive analytics in different domains like the banking, financial, sales, e-commerce, or whatever the marketing, anywhere where the data is required to be predicted or forecasted for future. The third domain is also a very important, which is the engagement through the NLP applications like chatbots, conversational AI, or through automated applications in different domain to engage customers, to engage the employee, HR, or any kind of user interaction. That is mostly widely used through the chatbots. So we have three different domains, right? The first one is automation, second one is forecasting, and the third one is chatbots and conversation engagement. So in these three domains, the whole canvas of any organization is actually adopting the AI, right? So going to the first one, first question, that how do you see the international canvas, right? Where the people are moving, how companies are adopting the AI in these three domains?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Adnan. Yeah, so if you talk about global, landscape of AI in the adoption and the challenges that they're facing, I think they're obviously ahead of us, like at least 15 years ahead of us, if not more. But Pakistan is also picking up pace. So to me, Adnan, I think, it's all about learning from the data and then putting it into action, right? And the topmost part is the action, and action is all about, automation that you actually briefly mentioned. And automation means that basically, in very simplified terms, that you're trying to reduce the human intervention because they're repetitive tasks, error-prone tasks, human-intensive tasks, and you're trying to bring these technologies like AI, RPAs, chatbots of the world to ensure that the human intervention is reduced, minimized, dependency is minimized, and the speed and the efficiency is increased, right? Now, when you look at the automation, automation could be achieved in multiple ways through a bunch of technologies, bunch of mechanisms, right? One of the key areas, because that is very relevant to the conference topic today, one of the key areas of the automation is artificial intelligence, right? AI is one area which can help automate the organizations. So, I'll give you some examples as well so that everybody understands as well. Within AI, obviously, there are multiple technologies. You can do deep learning, you can do machine learning, etc. But AI in a very general form is one of the key mechanisms. People, globally, since you asked, especially in the West, you talk about financial organizations, you talked about telcos, you talk about manufacturing concerns, hospitals, healthcare for that matter, security companies like public security, public safety companies, they are all using AI to ensure that they're getting more independent, fast, efficient, productive. एक example देता हूँ आपको. लंदन की बेसिकली फास्ट जो वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट सीसीटीवी कैमरास की जो बेसिकली इंस्टॉलेशन है वो लंदन में है और ये आज की बात नहीं है. इट वाज डन डेकेड्स अगो, राइट? और नाउ इन पाकिस्तान यू हैव सीन दैट इस्लामाबाद सेफ सिटी अथॉरिटी, पंजाब सेफ सिटी अथॉरिटी, ऑल दीज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आर बेसिकली यूजिंग कैमराज एंड दीज टेक्नोलॉजीज टू इंश्योर पब्लिक सेफ्टी. मेरा उसमें सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन होता है, जस्ट द पीपल कैन रिलेट के एआई किस तरह एफिशिएंट कर सकती है इन चीज़ों को, कि अगर आपने एक बहुत बड़ा हॉल लगा दिया जिसमें there's so many screens in Islamabad Safety Center or Punjab Safety Center with hundreds of screens, and still you have 100 people sitting in front of the screens and zooming into different cameras and different squares of Lahore city and other cities as well, and then looking at people if there is any activity that needs attention, if there's some abnormal activity, abandoned baggage for that matter, a collision of cars for that matter, somebody carrying a weapon or so. This should be done using AI. Object detection, facial recognition, posture detection, multitasking detection that they mentioned, like collision detection. All of these things could easily be migrated to from human intelligence to artificial intelligence, right? Last point before I hand over the mic to you back, Adnan. Somebody was talking about jobs being at threat. So the word basically that is carefully chosen globally now, because many people have been talking about the threats from of AI to the jobs, human jobs. It's not artificial intelligence anymore, it's augmented intelligence. Because they found that AI is not going to replace humans, AI is going to augment the capability of the human beings. So facial recognition at any safe city authority is not replacing the police people sitting in front of the cameras, because they can look at 100 cameras in a more vigilant manner, but AI can look at 10,000 cameras in few seconds in parallel to them and highlight something that needs attention. Once the exceptions are highlighted, humans will look at those exceptions and take the necessary actions. So police car, a patrolling system will not be routed to a crime scene through an AI system. A human intervention will be there, but now AI is helping you do that more efficiently. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, now you really highlighted some of the major concerns, and although definitely the job is something different, but moving on, but Mr. Bilal, who's representing the data science at Teradata and have a broad exposure for handling the big data as well. So what do you think that are we really adopting AI in our organizations, and how do you see what internationally is happening?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, first of all, Adnan, for setting up this great session. And obviously, every evolution starts from the, discussing and sharing the ideas and thoughts and experiences. So just in the start, before Adnan, I jump onto your question, very interestingly, talking about the AI, how AI is improving the lives, daily lives. So today, this morning, when I got this, sort of an urgent request of replacing Harun Kant, who is leading the Teradata Global here, he could not join in, so I was supposed to come and join in this session today, and there were a few topics that we discussed, right? So even trying to stop myself not going onto the chat GPT and gather some ideas, I could not do it, right? So even after having this global exposure of working on data science and data science customers, I had to go on and test the chat GPT to gather some thoughts and kickstart my mind to talk about all these facts, figures, and plus how we can improve the lives of people using the AI. Now, as far as the global perspective is concerned, global perspective, interestingly, have been largely changed about the AI, about automation, and about how we can effectively use the data to change the lives and the businesses, has actually changed during the pandemic and after the pandemic, right? So one of the very huge global perspective that we have now is primarily problem-driven, especially the adoption of AI is 100x because of the problems that have came up to the surface in last, I would say, 4 or 5 years. So for example, FedEx had at least 60% impact on their annual revenues during the pandemic, right? There are healthcare companies who actually showed a completely negative trend from depression going into the growth mode. So huge investment poured into the AI functions to curb and to steer the whole business out of the pandemic challenges. So when I say that the global perspective is problem driven, so for example, we have seen a huge AI adaptability in the supply chain sector, right? Improving the productivity, improving the overall response rate, right? So we started talking about, we had this session, last session from Keep Trucking, who were talking about all the computer vision applications into the supply chain also. Out of these 3 topics that you talked about, Adnan, one is the automation of the, for example, the RPAs, and the, the forecasting through machine learning and deep learning and different other techniques. And, the supply chain and, for example, as I talked about, the predictive asset maintenance is all combining into the AI applications. So you predict the failure, and then you automate the process either through RPC or through other means to make sure that you are taking the action proactively before the failure occurs.
Before the failure, right.
Right, so that's how the things are improving globally at least.
Right, thank you, Bilal. Let's talk with, I think Faisal is online. Faisal, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Actually, we are talking about 3 different scenarios. The first one is the 50% of the organization adopting AI in automations like RPA, and the 35% are adopting for analytics, forecasting, predictions, and 15% of organizations are using it as engagement. So what do you think, how internationally we can see which domain is much higher or which one has more utility?
Yeah, I think I agree to some, and the overall percentage of it that makes sense. But I think I would take it in a different way. So it's not only like percentage of work, but actually it's more like valuation. For example, RPA. Yes, I know there's a lot of work is going on RPA, and manufacturing and many other domains are like there's a lot of work in this domain. But actually, if you see the value addition, maybe then I think the split would entirely change. Okay, RPA is great, but if you want to make like a strategy, if you want to make like have a scenario-based planning, so then the third part will become like cover a lot of like more chunk over there, right? So in this way, so I would say that the first part is crucial for your daily operations, for your routine work. But if you move to the third part, then I would rank it at least like to 30-40%, right? Because then if you don't do the third part, so it means that the impact, the value addition would be very little.
Thank you. Now move towards Rob. So, what is your opinion in the area? What do you think which one is?
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Actually, I come from a startup. It is comparatively a new company, and we are basically building applications for healthcare sectors. So I will talk with respect to that. So basically, as you can see that AI applications are getting adopted very rapidly by healthcare sector as well. There are many AI-based applications that can actually work as virtual consultants on behalf of physicians, that they can analyze your data in the form of symptom diaries, and then they can actually diagnose you that what kind of disease you are likely to have, or what your symptoms suggest, and then they can actually prescribe you with medication. And we have seen that during COVID, this became very common, because COVID की वजह से everyone was afraid कि छोटी मोटी बीमारी होती थी, तो they didn't used to go to hospitals. So AI के chatbots and AI based powered virtual consultations की जो काफ़ी applications हैं that can help doctors to diagnose patients virtually. And basically, there are many AI-based applications, and in our company, we are working on a few of the AI-based applications that are going to diagnose the patients on the basis of medical images like CT scans, MRIs, and X-rays, and they can diagnose different health conditions, and then they can ask, there are two types of applications. One is that they can assist the physicians to diagnose certain conditions, and the other type of applications that are more sophisticated, they can actually diagnose the diseases on behalf of the on the behalf of the radiologist without any delay and with more speed. So basically, if we see that AI is being adopted in all types of organizations, and
Yes.
healthcare is one of them.
Yes, you are right. Actually, you are highlighting the facts that in the healthcare we are using the AI for predictive analytics. We are
Exactly.
using AI for engaging the patients, as well as we are creating some automations as
And
well.
even for managing of
Right.
patient data as well.
So the next question is a bit interactive, like the audience wants to get some knowledge, some insights from the AI experts as well. So I will ask what you personally do at your organization, and what you suggest the audience how to improve by different AI areas. So it's a small question, like you have few sentences to say.
Sorry, I'm not able to get the question. Like, what do I do at the organization?
Actually, you belongs to an organizations, and you are providing some AI services. So what you suggest the audience how to transform in that domain? Like if you are in data, they are in health, and they are different.
I mean, my advice to all organizations has been pretty much same for the last 7 or 8 years, that if you really want to adopt AI, and I've seen people adopt AI, we're working with one of the best hospitals to, as Rabia also mentioned, that we're working with to detect early detection of breast cancer for one of the largest hospitals. We're working with driving technology companies to detect the driver behavior. We're working with agricultural revolutionary stuff as well, global biotechnology stuff as well, to predict microbial assessment as well for the US-based organizations. All of them have one thing in common. All of these organizations which are forward-looking have one thing in common, and I want all of you to start adopting that as well as a habit. They do little things in agile way, like 3 to 4 months projects, and they spend R&D budgets on those projects. So let's assume that somebody's here from the telco, somebody's here from insurance companies, or somebody's here from a manufacturing company. You have a human-intensive task, a repetitive task, and you want to see, can AI, it's a hypothetical scenario that you have in your minds, and the question is that, can AI solve this problem or make this process more robust and efficient? If you have that question in your mind, good news, because that's the first thing that is required to embark upon AI projects. The second thing that you need to do is allocate an R&D budget, $10,000 US, $15,000 US, Get some good partners on board. I've seen many good partners. Proxima is there, Ekel is there, 10x is there, your company is there, I don't recall the name, Teradata is there. Find good partner and start a 3 to 4 months agile AI R&D engagement with them. Few $1,000s. If you fail, fail fast. If you fail, just embark upon the other project. Trust me, the biggest impediment in the way of AI adoption is not the money, is not the cost of the project. It's the fear of failure, because people think that if I become the first person within a 2,000 people organization to raise my hand that, sir, big boss, I'll try to do this through AI, and if I fail, I may be out of the organization. That's a wrong approach. Just think that if you succeed, what will happen? Because if you succeed, you will be the leader for the digital transformation within your organization. My last comment, Adnan, before I hand over the mic to you, that I keep on repeating this, I've said that before as well, that digital transformation or AI-led transformation or data-driven transformation for that matter is not a question of improvement. It is a question of survival. So please embark upon such R&D projects, and I'm sure that you'll be succeeding very soon.
Right, very quickly, yes, Faisal Kamran Sahab.
Ji, bilkul, I think Adnan has excellently covered this question, and just I would add a couple of points, and I further build upon the point of Adnan. So I think definitely, so I think we should never worry about being failed. And so just 2 more points. One, in general, so I think in R&D projects, so people usually think like small. They think like, okay, so we just need to run a POC and we need to show something. Okay, maybe sometimes as a practitioner, so you need to think a little bit more that how this thing will be actually applied, how the thing will be used. Because sometimes, even I'm from academia, so you can run small POCs. You can, like on synthetic data, on some kind of ideal world, you can show something. But your boss would never accept that. He would always ask, okay, so this is my environment, bring your use case here and give me some performance over here. If you don't show, then there will be embarrassment for anyone. So be realistic that how it will be, because you are engineer, you are not a scientist. Scientists do experiments in a hypothetical world. But as an engineer, we are just like plumbers as a computer scientist. So we need to make things working. If we don't do that, nobody will gonna pay us, right?
Right.
This is very important. That's one point. Second point is like, so I think we need to manage expectations. So this is very important. So it's very crucial in AI because it's a very fancy technology. Everybody wants to build like something of next generation, and nobody has seen that, what that will be. It's different than building an app and website because you have wireframes in front of you in the case of application, in the case of website, but in AI, most of the times things are a bit more abstract. So you need to manage expectations on both sides, what you're going to produce, and as on the other side, as a kind of company owner or stakeholders, you also need to see that what I'm expecting, is it reasonable? And I agree with Adnan, like it should not be a very long term, like maybe a project of 1 year or something. It should be like small sprints, like 3 months, 4 months. At least you can show something, you can get feedback, and you can just do that. One more point, now think, this is what Adnan and I mentioned. So this is maybe like, this was up to March 2023. But after March 2023, so things are getting changed. Now the technology is being changed. Generative AI is there. ChatGPT 4 is there. So you also need to be very open. You need to adopt these things. You need to be flexible. Come out of your comfort zone.
Sure.
If you don't come, so it will bite you.
That's good. Okay, Bilal, very quickly, can you?
All right, thank you so much, Adnan. And I think this is one of the key takeaway that everybody, like Adnan talked about, and others. So after working with the large customers and the medium customers from all the way south of America to Japan, this is one of the key takeaways that we have for you today. And I think we should also share it further with the audience. Talking about the AI adaptability, the first and foremost question that you are talking about is from yourself and your business stakeholders, that what exactly is the problem that you want to solve with, right? So, for example, Adnan talked about, and others also, that AI can solve primarily three major functions. One is risk-oriented, how you can reduce the risk and improve the efficiency. One is the speed, which is the RPA. And the third one is the sales, which are the revenues, customers, and all that, right? Now, you will have to have that business approach in order to embark on the AI tool. Tools are easy. There are a lot of partners, 10x, Teradata, like Adnan talk about. There are a lot of small and big companies who can come and help you. But you have to have the business approach. This is one thing. Secondly, you will have to have the long-term and the short-term approach. Long-term approach is कि पाकिस्तान में problem ये है कि हम लोग अपना data का ख्याल नहीं करते, neither we care about that. So this is the time when we start talking about managing the data properly, either the big data or the structured data. And then in the short term, like everybody said, don't fear to fail. आप लोग एक बिजनेस एरियाज को पकड़ के उसके ऊपर आप ये एआई इंप्लीमेंट करके एंड गो ऑल द वे टू द प्रोडक्शनाइजेशन एंड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन and operationalization to making sure that the value that you were expecting from your AI investment is finally coming into your business. So you have to run it through properly, making sure that your business is adopting it. And in the long term, making sure that you have the right data structure in your business.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
great. You talked about like business strategies. You are talking about like smaller, larger projects and research oriented, organization should be R&D oriented. So very shortly, I think Rabia, you people are already doing the same thing. You people are serving in the same domain. I'm moving to. Yes, you want to add something?
Yes, I want to add one thing, because as a part of health sector, I have seen that many healthcare organizations are reluctant to adopting AI due to many data privacy and security issues, because healthcare organizations are subject to very stringent regulations like FDA if you want to market your product in US, and in Europe other standards like GDPR for data protection and privacy. So as AI models are all trained on the basis of data, so in order to get your hands on vast amount of data and in order to protect that data from cyber threats, so that is another big issue, and
Yes.
it makes many organizations think that if we adopt AI for our organization, then how are we going to get our hands on that much data, and how are we going to protect personal health information of the patients?
Yes, we are running out of time and it's very near to lunch break as well. So, अब last question में yes और no में ले लेता हूँ आप लोगों से कि we have lots of tech companies in Pakistan, like thousands of software houses building ERP, HRM और बहुत सारी consulting softwares बना रहे हैं, but they are not adopting automations in that, right? इसी तरह से हमारी जो tech companies हैं उनका future, if they do not adopt AI in the next 10 years, तो आपने yes और no में बताना है कि let's say एक company है जिसके पास data नहीं है और वो AI को adopt नहीं करता, where do you think after 10 years वो company exist करेगी या नहीं exist करेगी?
Potentially no. Potentially no.
जी फैसल, yes or no? After 10 years?
No.
No. Yes, Bilal.
Most probably no, Ji.
Great. Yes, Rabia.
No.
So we have concluded our panel, like the people who are already in the tech industry and not adopting artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning in all kind of data, either it is the text, it's images, vision data or anything. So we don't see in the long run they could be out of the business in 2033 or somewhere, right? Thank you audience and thank you panelists.
Thank you so much. Ji. Thanks.